Hey, I'm Duke on Twitch. If you want to support the channel and greensunzenith.com, you can find my Patreon, merch store, and singles store where you can buy singles through TCG Player or Card Hoarder in the video description. If you want to get in contact, you can also find all that info in the description below for things like donation deck lists or just wanting to reach out. Alright, let's get right into it. Hey team, welcome back to Dukes on Twitch. Back today with Naya Depths as we just continue testing for Eternal Masters, which is coming up in Australia in a few weeks, which should be pretty cool. Nothing really to say about the list in regards to changes, other than Torpor. Trying out Torpor because I expect some amount of Death and Taxes down there. Just a pretty nice card to deal with a lot of their value. So gonna see how Orb goes, but other than that, pretty normal. I would split my blasts between Pyro and Red Elemental Blast, but I have hit my limit with my Card Hoarder account. Shout out to Card Hoarder, who sponsored the channel, and of course allow me to play these decks, which is awesome. But just gonna go with the 3 Red Elemental Blast for now. Hopefully it doesn't come up that it changes, something like a Bile Therapy or Surgical. Otherwise, yeah, pretty normal kind of set. I do play 61 with Naya, and the reason for that is pretty much because of these cards. Having nearly 20 tutors in the deck means you're going to see a lot of the things that you are wanting to get out of each match. And having Maze of Ith in the deck is something that I've always wanted. So Maze is kind of my 61st card, and because we have so many ways to find it or find other cards, I don't think it hits the consistency of the deck that much. I think the deck is just highly consistent anyway, that playing that 61st card, the advantages of having Maze in the deck is kind of outweighing any sort of downsides of running that one extra card. So pretty happy to see how this goes. Legacy League, we don't have play points, but we do have chests. 45 play points, that's pretty awesome. If I could get 2 45s, I'd be very stoked. Close. I hope within these 4 I get at least 20. I believe there's a minimum of 5, so we should be fine. There we go. Nice. Gameplay. Very cool. Shout out to those on YouTube as well. Thanks for watching, hope you're all doing well. Thanks for being subscribed to content, not just on Twitch. Played in the Legacy Challenge last night. I went 1-3, which is pretty tough. Had some pretty tough matchups, but also made some small decisions that were incorrect, that definitely snowballed. Sequencing was a big one. And maybe some of my turns were learning how to know when to loam and when to draw. There was a pretty big turn where there was a few turns of drawing instead of loaming to try to find an exploration, and then of course the turn that we loam we hit double exploration. So I think it's just sticking with your gut with a lot of that, and obviously getting a few more reps with the deck. I've only played maybe 5 leagues now, but it's a really interesting deck to play, especially in Legacy. It's nearly a little bit mind-blowing to be able to play a deck in Legacy with so few spells, which is pretty cool. Alright, on the play against Unban, Oko, and Labe. And I don't mind this hand. If it is combo, we have Endurance, which could be relevant. Otherwise, we have a turn 2 Library, turn 1 Sword, so pretty happy to keep this. Probably just going to lead on the Windswept Heath to play around Wasteland. Also means we can hold up Sword for turn 2 Library as well, which is nice. They chose to not shuffle. So one thing here is that I'm actually going to play the Yav and then just tap both lands for green, keeping the fetch, because I think the shuffle effect is still pretty relevant here. And I'd like to have that option. Wow, okay, so untapping with the library is pretty nice here. I'm most likely just going to be drawing 8 straight away, just to get some real value off it. And these are fantastic cards as well, so I'm pretty happy to pay here. The question is, how do I want to go about my turn? Hey Darkness, a huge thank you. Hope you're doing well. I'm going to do a quick search. Unban Oko and Labe. Interesting. A lot of Urza Echo, a bit of band control. I think maybe because of back to basics, there is a world where I'm going to fetch here for basic, but it's a case of like, what do I want to achieve this turn? I think it might just be Knight. If I play the stage this turn, then we can untap and also get Duck Depths into play potentially. So I think it might just be stage, fetch for that island, or the plains in the deck, and just play out Knight. Also means we can 2-spell next turn if we want. We can play Reclaimer and hold up Endurance and Knight. But just really nice to get that value off Sylvan Library straight away. I mean, if my opponent trades with it, we've already drawn an extra 2 cards off it, so that's pretty sweet. It's usually either forced or prismatic ending early on, so it's a pretty big win. And kind of the win I need against these sort of decks. Okay. No, so that's not too bad. Obviously, Days Undoing would be pretty tough, but... Oh, that's actually a good point. I need to quickly update the deck list. Thanks, Jittery. Alright, deck list should be updated. Now it's actually quite nice because it does answer the library to some extent. It's just going to be land into Reclaim a Hold Up Endurance. I'd love to see like a snap into swords here, so we get endurance in response. There's also the option of Supreme Verdict here for my opponent as just a 1-for-1 trade. Okay. Not too bad. Force pitching a dress down, which is actually pretty interesting. This Narset's definitely doing a lot of work because this is a matchup where we can be pretty aggressive with library. So we know one card in hand is Supreme Verdict. Just going to copy planes here. Means that the stage will untap through a back to basics, which is quite nice. Brainstorm's interesting here. If I wanted to hit the fetch land here, I could take them away from the shuffle. Which honestly I don't mind doing. I'm going to copy the Wasteland first to have an additional copy. And then take them off the shuffle here because we're currently kind of spinning our wheels a little bit. Nice. So they don't have another fetch land, which is pretty nice for us. A snap. Okay. Yeah, really nice choice in basics. I assume it's going to be Ponder here for a shuffle. Okay. I'm not going to use a swords here. We have the maze for the snap, and I can keep swords for things like Hull Breacher. Oh, Prismatic Ending is actually quite nice. And we can copy an island next turn to be able to get that third mana to Prismatic the Narset. Teferi is fairly annoying as well. I guess that's a reason to Swords to Snap in response, potentially. So we can hold up this and the flagstones to crop. So there is a world where I don't care about this and care about this more. but I can't combo off and cast Prismatic next turn because I need one. I need 3 mana in total plus this. 1 for crop, 2 for activation, and I don't currently have that. Actually, I do because the Dark Depths itself can tap for mana, so this is all good. I'm gonna hold the step here. But there is currently this Snap Swords, which is pretty tough. I actually don't mind just using my mana here. But it is tough knowing about Snapcaster into Swords here. No attacks is fine. I'm not too sure how this deck wins through like a few mazes, so I might start turning my Thespian stages into mazes. So my opponent is going to be losing some value here by not attacking because it stops me from being able to actually do this. I guess maybe back to basics in the main deck could be an out. I think here I just like getting a Safekeeper. I don't believe they play Jace. I believe this deck only runs Snapcaster and Hullbreacher as their kind of ways out of it. Okay. Alright, they got their win con. But they didn't make a... They could have made a creature there, right? Interesting. This is going to be a grindy one for sure. Alright, they find us swords. Like we have crop rotation as an out, but I'm pretty happy just to buy some time here. I'm also going to lose the second maze rather than the blue source in case we draw into prismatic ending. They allow us to draw. Interesting. One cool trick as well with Marit and Wandering Emperor is if they try to like exile it, we can then Maze of Ith it to untap it, which is kind of cool. I am just gonna, no, that's fine. Day's Undoing. Shot. Every little bit of info here is good, and every minute definitely matters as well, so the longer I can stall this game and then hopefully get game 2. Okay. These decks do take some time to win, for sure. But my opponent not even attacking into these mazes is really interesting. I do like Timeless Dragon in these decks. I think that's pretty cool. Maze. That's a really like subtle thing about this deck as well, is that by playing one maze, you essentially play 4 maze because of Deathspin Stage, and then because you play Knight and Reclaimer, you have an extra 8 ways to get it, but then also Green Suns, so then you also play an extra way to get it. I don't know if you could hear that, but you could just hear my dog running for a possum or something. Maybe losing that extra mage was tough. Maybe the wrong play. Like, from an MTGO perspective, there's no reason to do anything other than going to combat and swinging here. Especially when you're now, like, getting 4 minutes on my opponent is pretty nice. Which is sad, but, like, it's part of the game online, so. Sideboarding's gonna be interesting. So we have, I would say, like, some heavy hitters in the 2 chokes and the blasts. They're the big ones. What isn't great, The Moxen aren't great because of things like Teferi, Prismatic Ending, etc. I do like the targeted cards like Mazavith. Caracas could potentially come out here. Bajuga Bog is nice. Wasteland, I could see just going down to 2 Wastelands, given their... So that's a pretty nice split there. The Swords I still think is relevant, especially against Hull Breacher into Days Undoing. But also having the Blasts means I could probably cut down on at least 1 sword. The Crops are fine, but it's at the same time, getting hit with a counterspell is pretty rough on Crop. I kind of like the Endurances. It's just an extra way to kind of fight, especially at instant speed. It's pretty awesome. And then just 1 Force for Back to Basics and Blood Moon. Probably for the Ramanap. The Ramanap isn't doing too much here. We don't really have any ways to generate real card advantage through Ramanap. There's no Horizon Canopy in the list or anything like that. Everything else I kind of like. So I think that's going to be the cut. And just hope again that we get like an early Sylvan Library with a Red Blast. This is definitely an interesting hand. We have like an early way to accelerate. I don't mind this hand. It has all the mana that we need as well. The big question is, am I happy to Green Sun straight away for Dried Arbor? Or would I rather go for like a Reclaimer down the line? I think it's going to be Reclaimer down the line. Probably also just going to try to Green Suns for Reclaimer into Reclaimer, which doesn't play around Verdict, but it plays around like Teferi bounce on your 1 creature. Okay. A fetch land wouldn't be too bad off the top. It means we could Green Suns for Reclaimer and then also hold up Dried Arbor to kill a Teferi if they try to bounce the Reclaimer. Or just a natural Reclaimer. It's pretty good as well. Alright. No 3-drop. Surely we see a 3-drop here. The question is, do I even want to play this step? I think just making my land drop is significant here, so I will play this step. I'm going to give 1 pro blue until end of turn. But nothing there means they just have Verdict in hand. guess they could have like Ruination. Supreme Verdict. The question is, do I want to use the Reclaimer here? Or just hold up Endurance? I think it's just going to be Endurance. A blast effect would be really nice off the top. Just something to be able to give me some amount of protection. Yeah. That's also why I kept the Savannah in hand. Yeah, now we really need something off the top that isn't forest. Maybe as the keep, maybe I'm supposed to mulligan to something like a choke or a blast in hand. But even choke on this board wouldn't be too great. And I guess the blast would have potentially allowed us to have both endurances in play, but otherwise, pretty tough. Wow. This is only a trade with one land, which is nice. I probably could have also made the Thespian stage a mountain so I could hold up the blast here. That would be pretty cool. I'm going to wait on this. No shuffle. Really want to be able to cast the choke with the Elemental Blast up, or blast like a Teferi and then choke. Okay. "2022 in a nutshell." Okay. I mean, we have the combo here, but I'm just wanting my opponent to trade a little bit more on resources and then go for the combo. Like, hopefully this is Teferi. Interesting. Like, do I care about this? I can Caracas it, which is interesting. I don't think I care about this. But I mean, it is a card advantage machine, but my play is untap. We then have access to 1, 2, 3 mana. I guess it's a little bit rough because the blast is currently the stage that I want to copy with. So I need 3 mana for this and 4. So currently I have 1 extra mana with the knight. So I can't actually Caracas this until I get it online. So I actually will blast it. And see if they fight over it. They do, wow. Oh, last card is swords? Yikes. Okay. I kind of just want to crop now. And probably keep the basics. I should have also responded most likely to the fetch so they can't do this. That's probably correct. Yeah, that's 100% correct. All right, they're digging. But yeah, I think there's a big misplay was not responding to the fetch land. This does turn on Prismatic Ending as an out, but I think we just have to say that's going to happen. Like they have 1 card left. Oh. Oh, maybe dress down? Snap. Yikes. Tough. Tough. Just a little bit too fair on my side. The double ruination is really tough. This is Shark Typhoon. I'm just going to swords one of these before it resolves. Big yikes. Okay. It's definitely a card. I guess they could like Snapcaster into Ruination, which is pretty brutal. They probably should have just done that. We can draw a Bog. Bog would be pretty awesome here. Oh my gosh. Actually. That turns off Ruination as a line. But it's going to be tight. I think they might have just gone too wide. Hey, Limber Boy. Yeah. Oh my gosh. Rough. Rough. Classic. So close. So close. Comes down to the second. I do just have to quickly give cards to a friend. I'll be right back. Rick, if you're here, we can definitely do this. I'll wait for... No. That's all good. Yeah, tough. Just didn't really have anything each game. We definitely made game actions, but nothing that really resulted in us getting ahead on the board, which is tough. Those Bant decks are always going to be pretty tough when you have like things like Source of Plowshares, Prismatic Ending, Teferi Bounce, Snapcaster Mage. A lot of value and a lot of easy ways to find removal. And even Choke, like, Choke on that board wasn't doing much. We saw like the Mountain, 2 Plains, etc. But very grindy for sure. We do play 1 Safekeeper, yeah, as a Green Sun's target. All right. Yeah, Safekeeper is by far the best card, but it's just a case of finding it, and you don't always find it. Nice in this version as well with flagstones. Up against that Maverick Joe. Most likely on Bant Maverick, which is pretty interesting. I'm going to keep this. I think because they're on Bant Mav, I might just get rid of the depth here to the Mox. I could Green Suns for a Reclaimer, but I think this is okay. The Green Suns for like a Night of Autumn or something like that down the line could be relevant. Alright. An untapped Source would be great here, because then we can Ending and also Reclaimer. Dried Up are not really what I want. The big question here is can I go after their mana, or should I keep the prismatic endings for things like Knight of the Reliquary? Forest Noble. These two just a little bit awkward. Yeah, I'm happy to hit their mana here. Slow them down just a little bit. Like a turn 2 knight is a lot different to a turn 3 knight. Okay. Wow. I will play the bog here because it allows me to have 4 mana next turn. Which I think is more relevant than holding the bog. Move is fine. It does hit the Moxen, but not too bad. Fetch land. Okay. I don't mind just going for a knight here. Hey, thanks, Rick, and I hope the cleanup isn't too bad. Okay. Interesting. Possibly in endurance here. I like getting Safekeeper here and then moving towards Dark Depths over time. We can trade this, probably trade the Dryad Arbor away for a Flagstones. But I know Maverick Joe is a fan of Stifle, so I do have to look out for that as well. Hey, Ari. Yeah, pretty brutal. some pretty brutal losses, but also some good learnings from it, which is nice. I'm not sure if that was you playing against Ben. I saw Ben send me a photo of him playing some Legacy the other night, which is very cool to see. I know that he's been playing a mill deck, which doesn't seem that fun to play against, but each to their own. Each to their own. Yeah, it doesn't seem like... It seems like one of those decks where you, like, 2 ships passing each other in the night, not really caring about each other, but also you kind of have to care about mill, because it can just get you. And one is sinking. Yeah, that's true. Green Suns for 2. Possibly Scrib Ranger. Possibly Scavenging Ooze. I don't have to respond to either. Okay. This feels like Stifle, potentially. No. Yeah. It's going to be tough because if they don't have interaction for the 2020, we untap and make it, and then still have 3 lands left over for Safekeeper. So even if they have, like, Swords, we get protection, Krakus, we get protection, then we have 1 left over, so they could even have 1 more piece of removal, and then we get to untap and then just Sajiri Step for pro-green to get through. So, pretty tough spot. Okay. I kind of like going on the fairer plan here with the Endurances. I could see Moxen coming out, but the Mox starts are just so good with the Sylvan libraries. I'm actually going to take out 2 Depths and just go with the 1 Depths. Yeah, I think like to go from Maverick to Green-White Depths to lands is like a nice transition because they all have little discrete similarities. Because you go from like full creature to creature and depths to depths and lands. This is just a mull. The mana's just not there. This is better. I'll keep this and I'll bottom probably just the Yav here and keep the basics. It's actually a really nice 6. All right. At least here we don't have to worry about double spell like Swords and Thalia because they only have access to 1 white potentially next turn. Sorry. We also have Swords for like a turn 2 Knight, which is fantastic. And then can follow up with a second Reclaimer, which is even better. Oh, Jitte. Okay. Mox. I think the Plains is just better here. And they're just holding up the Swords to Plowshares. I will see if they attack with the Dryad Arbor. I want to make them put 2 mana into it. And then make them even attack with it so they can't float the mana and just cast like a Noble Hierarch or a Birds. So I can potentially take them off 3 mana here if they go for the Jade, which is pretty cool. This feels like a prismatic ending. Oh, they go for it. All right. We get a nice little time walk here. I think 8 mulch is definitely faster. Yeah, definitely. But I do like that lands is a little less all in that regard. I think we're just holding up Reclaimer here. Getting rid of the plains to go and get our flagstones. Okay. Probably just a knight. Hey Dade, thanks for the follow. Hope you're doing well. Ramanap. Okay. Knight. Tough. I think the play is to get to a stage where we can block the Ramanap and then Crop and Sajiri step into the win. At least to get rid of the Ramanap. Otherwise, we're looking pretty tough. One land in the graveyard. If they have endurance, it's brutal, but I think we have to go block. And then before damage. What if I crop away flags? I go and get a land and then I still have Reclaimer. I think it's just going to be crop for flagstones here. This comes in untapped. And now we get to... sack this. This is now a 3/4. go and get another Savannah. And then with this, we can get Sajiri Step and give Pro, which means that the Jide gets no counters, the Ramanap deals no damage, and we also potentially get to kill the Ramanap. But I feel like we have a Endurance here, which only changes things slightly. We still get to keep the Ramanap, which is nice. Oh, the Reclaimer. But at least now we get to untap. And Green Sun's for Night of Autumn to take out the Jide. So like, yeah, looking pretty good. Okay. I'm not going to show the diamond just yet either. Yeah, it's a pretty sweet turn. Apologies. Next turn I get to diamond away the Dryad Arbor, then get it back with Ramanap. Oof. Okay. I can crop for Bog here, which is nice. So we can go cast Mox, pitch the Dryad Arbor, play Ramanap, get back the Savannah, and now crop away probably the Step for Bojuka Bog to turn off their graveyard, which is pretty huge. Taking out 2 Wasteland Blast Zone, 2 Windswept Heath. And I'll actually keep both back because now they can't attack with the Ramanap, or else we can trade the Knight as a double block. Okay. Probably just a 4-3. Ah, of course it can kill the Mox. That's fine, seeing we have the Ramanap, which is nice. Probably just attack with the Endurance here. No great blocks, but we can hopefully block with the Knight next turn. Alright. I'll get back Dryad Arbor. You can just trade with the Knight if they try to attack. It's been a cool game. It's been a pretty back and forth game, which is nice. Oof, that's huge. Interesting that they go after the Ramanap, because I think the Knight is the bigger threat, but maybe my opponent knows something that I don't. Oof. I think I'm going to play around Caracas and Swords and Prismatic Ending. The Wasteland I don't really care about if they have Wasteland. Interesting, because here we get to protect it. I think I will protect it. But I could go for... No, I think step here is fine. I don't believe I get the basic because it just fizzles, yeah. I kind of like attacking with everything here. Let's just go for the 3. I actually am going to make it in upkeep. I think I will play around Wasteland now. I think it's better to play around Wasteland. Yikes. Now they have 1 card. The Wasteland means I can attack through an Endurance, which is nice. One thing they do have here is this Dried Arbor with Ramanap for days, which is pretty tough. But that's pretty good. I'm actually going to attack first and see if they fetch for Dried Arbor. No. Ah, it's exiled. Maybe they also thought it was still in the deck. The question is, do I even want to use the Prismatic Ending then? I kind of just want to hold it. Like, them getting back a fetch isn't too bad. If they want to play a land like a Wasteland, they can't get it back the same turn because they played it for turn. So I think I'd rather keep the ending in case they get like a mum down or some sort of bigger threat that I can then ending. Oof. Okay. Is this Questing Beast? They tap the Caracas, which is interesting, in case we draw into a removal. It could also be the new Bant card that I believe Maverick Joe's been testing out. It's like a Fiend Hunter style effect. No, just another endurance. Okay. I think now it's like holding back. There's no great attacks. Block like this. Sack this. Stifle. That's fine. We can still wasteland ourselves. I guess we could have wastelanded them as well, but... Yeah, we could waste. I took the. I thought we had an extra damage there. We don't. Nice. They have one card left. If it's another endurance, we can't get there, but I think to play it safe, I like attacking with the knight here, holding back the other knight. Also holding up Swords to Plowshares here in case of like Green Sons of Questing Beast. Land pass. Alright. We get to grow the knight, which is awesome. Fetch. Fetch. Plateau. Swords this. They got a 9, then we have 9 in play. Nice. Definitely, I think, yeah, definitely flooded out. Like when you look at this, Ramanap Endurance, Jitte Sword, Knight Stifle Endurance, Path Sword, but it's turn 14. Like, it's a lot of land for my opponent, but nice to get back. A fair amount of tricks, which is nice. And the matchup's always pretty fun. Alright, up against Road. I'm not going to say it. I'm not sure how to say it. These are the tricky hands, like no white mana. Oh, sorry, green mana, which is tough, so I'm just not going to keep this. Okay. I'll keep this in bottom, probably a Moxen. Although, dropping a land here is kind of nice. Like a Yav. And then we get to go turn on library. And if we draw into like a wasteland, we can wasteland too. Flooded Strand makes me think this Sylvan Library is not going to stick around for long. They chose to shuffle straight away. I'm actually going to cast this Mox into Daze. No. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Fetch here means I can hold up Dried Arbor if they try to Teferi back the Moxen. Nothing. Okay. Well, I'm not going to fetch. Knight is pretty sweet. Also holding up Dried Arbor here, so Teferi bounces in just a straight out. They can't Prismatic Ending it, which is nice, but... they obviously want to cast something. Okay. Okay. All right, Dried Arbor. Now is your time to shine. I feel like if they had Sword, they would have just Swords the Knight and then ticked up to Fairy, so pretty nice to have that not online. Crop's pretty nice. Crop gives me access to just Sajiri Step, which is awesome. I also get to sack the flagstones, so if it gets countered, then it's not that bad. They didn't have a shuffle effect after the Brainstorm either, so they are currently locked. That was tough, Mav. Like the Jide not connecting was huge. Me having an out to the Jide not connecting was probably the big one. Interesting. Well, we're at a pretty good time to go for it here. Wow. So now the question is, oh, they're going to brainstorm again? Do they have Terminus? I think in that case... See, this is an interesting one. They could have gone for Swords to Plowshares, but they're going for Brainstorm after brainstorming last turn, which makes me think they have Terminus, which makes me want to crop here for Bog instead of going for Protection. And they have Force, okay. Yikes. Yeah, that's just going to be a concession. Moxen, Caracas, Blasts, Chokes. I don't mind at least one Force. Ramanap, Swords. I think that's a pretty good mix. I don't mind one Endurance over a Wasteland. Still have 27 lands, which is more than enough. Just a one-lander. Rough. His hand is pretty awful as well, considering the mana base. Alright. I probably keep double library here, because I really want the first one, or at least one of them, to stick. Okay. This is fine, because now we have to the choke. But they have another Force. Whew. 1 second. Nice. Played a land that ticked up. Hey Skin, thanks for the follow. Hope you're doing well. Come on, library. Oh my gosh. Teferi bounce. Tough. The 5s are brutal. Especially when we don't even have ways to accelerate out the Sylvan libraries. Another Teferi. I am really liking this build, which is nice. This is pretty nice because like Sylvan Safekeeper is a way for me to get a red source through the flagstones. Okay, that's pretty huge. I'm not going to deal with this Teferi because I know about the other one. Yeah. I'm not enjoying this. So I don't think we have a great out. Like if I deal with that Teferi, they have another one. It's just a pretty unwinnable situation there that I think we can just move on to a more enjoyable game 3. But yeah, I think we cast like 3 libraries there and none of them stuck, so I think that's kind of the matchup in a nutshell. Just trying to gain an advantage over like one library, maybe draw 2 cards off it, but yeah, Prismatic Ending is a hell of a card. Yeah, sadly, it's just part of the game. The blue decks do have a pretty good time, especially with Prismatic Ending against the Depths decks. So unless you are able to get in a situation where you can untap with a library or maybe get them with a choke, it's going to be pretty unfavored. All right, fish. Highlander Wednesday. Highlander Wednesday. I believe Highlander wasn't... Yeah, these openers just have been really cruel. Okay. So I want the Mox. I think it's just the Green Suns here, potentially. Or even the Reclaimer, because I can Green Suns for it. That makes sense. Look at this. Look at this. Too kind. Too kind. I'm not sure what fish usually plays. Just don't be a Tundra. Oof. Okay. Well... Okay. We do have Moxen, which is nice here. We actually have double Mox. They missed a land drop, so I'm tempted to go after the Chrome Mox here. But it's definitely tough. Like, they can't just exile land straight away, so... I think I'm actually just going to get Endurance here. Kill Hearse? I could kill Hearse. So it's really a case here of, do I want to go for Night of Autumn now or next turn? I kind of like Endurance as just a 3/4 threat right now. It's also quite good against the goblins. Oh, they miss? Okay, nice. I think here we just play Wasteland. Green Suns for Night of Autumn, taking out the Blood Moon, and then Wasteland the Ancient Tomb. Wow, no land. So they really went all in on that Blood Moon and just kept it. I'm actually gonna, I am gonna pay 8 here. Definitely attack with both. And then untap the endurance. Have I played a land for turn? Yeah, I played Thespian Stage. I think it's just going to be double Reclaimer. Hey, nice, Joe. That's a really good win. Rough. Well, those are the games that I will take. Force of Vigor, yes. Collector Oof, I don't mind. That's really it. The Safekeeper can most likely come out. The Krakis can definitely come out. The Bajuka Bog can come out. I think the Ramanap's probably coming out for these. There is a world where I like another Endurance over the Knights because of the Hearse, but that's probably going to be it. Just a 3/4 body's really nice. All right. Look. I'll keep it for science. Especially if we can deal with a Blood Moon after the Dark Depths has come into play. Okay. I'm actually pretty keen to take them off this wasteland here. I'll take them off this tomb. My opponent just said, so your companion is 2 Mox Diamonds? Oof. Alright. Ooh. 4 mana. Oh my gosh. Yikes. That's probably a reason to keep them into hand. But we still have a plan, which is nice. Oh, we do have a plan, because Yav. Just need one more turn. Just need that extra turn, baby. Ooh. They need boom. And like, worst case, if this Dark Depths doesn't get there, we still have... the library to then get there. This better not happen again, because my opponent has said, tell him extra. Oh my gosh. All right. Let's finish this off on a high. That is classic. That is actually hilarious. Tell him XJ Cloud sent me. Hey fish, what up? Yeah, to be like, yeah, tough. You're like the game one not having a follow up to the Blood Moon was pretty brutal. Like not having like a goblin to then start going would have been really clutch. Like just let me keep a 7. Come on, man. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Still no green? Look, I'm not going down to 6. I'm not going down to 4. Yeah, not having that third mana was dire. We felt for you. We saw what happened. Oof. Well, I guess we know what we're trying to do. Look, Heart of the Cards. And double mocks. Like, to be fair, I think there is a case for not playing the double mock straight away. Especially games 2 and 3, where I suspect some amount of, like Fiery Compliments is exactly the card, but, like, I don't expect you to chalice for 0. Ponder was not a shuffle. Not really, Joe. I didn't think there was like a... I think you just played well with the cards you had. I feel like you fetched at one point to get Dryad Arbor, but then we both realized that it was actually exiled. When I attacked with a Knight, you fetched before blockers, because then you could get kind of like ultimate, unlimited blockers with like Ragavan and Dryad Arbor. But like, I've definitely done that as well, where it's like, I actually got rid of the Dryad Arbor. Okay. I still like Wasteland here. I want to try to get this Reclaimer to a 3/4 before I put it into play. And we have time here, which is nice. Okay. I'm just going to play around days on both of these spells. They kept on top, so I reckon they found Wasteland. Oh, that changes everything. Nice. We can play the Mox around days, pitch the Caracas, play a land, play Reclaimer. We do run Blast Zone, which is quite nice. Wow, they're going to force this. Legistrator. Wow, double Legistrator. They're really just looking for lands here. I think in that case, I'm happy just to Swords one now. It doesn't play around Force Negation, but it does play around like Brainstorm in response. Oh my gosh. Okay, at least it's a Force of Will. But still, like, this is a 2-turn clock. Like, Blast Zone is really our only out. Tough. Libraries, chokes, endurances, blasts. Chasm's interesting, but I don't think so. I like taking out the Caracas. Night of Autumn, some amount of Nights. Some amount of Crops. Although Crop is quite nice for things like... Oh, we're not playing Blast Zone. Ah, okay. Well, that's quite good to know. I think I'm happy with this. Yeah. Okay. Sure. Okay. Pretty happy just to blast this. Keeping the sword for DRC. Tomic's a tough one. I could see a world, but it's a tough one. Jeez. Two cards for my opponent. Okay. I'm just going to get rid of their graveyard here. Hopefully. Tough. Well, they tried to keep it back. I'm not. I'm gonna go to the airport pretty soon after this. Interesting. I assume that means they're not playing Mystic Sanctuary if they just threw their fetch away like that. Wow, they're casting this just to get the triggers. I think here I'm going to allow them to attack with both and then just endurance them to take the damage off the table. Hey Tim, a huge thank you for the sub. 3 months is very cool. Very glad to catch you live. I mean, if this Reclaimer gets there, this is a game for the ages. Can we draw step? That would be insane. Oof. This little elf has done so much work. They don't even have the bolt for it. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Really? Oh my gosh. Did you see that game? Did you see that game? That is insane. That is an insane game. Wow. Huh. That... Oh. That has to be one of my favorite games against Delver ever. Especially on a 5? Something. Oof. I think this is a mull just because of the amount of removal it doesn't have. It has some nice fetches straight up. But I think it's just a little bit too slow. Hey, that Maverick Joe, too kind for the gifted subs. A huge thank you. Welcome, Ocean. Tuz, Jam, FH, Idea. Thank you very much. I'm going to mull this just because I want removal in my opening hand. Okay, this is a lot better. I'm going to bottom the Dried Upper. Too kind, Joe. A huge thank you. Your support has been astronomical. Mox. I'm happy to see if they daze the Mox here. Yeah, that's fine. Too kind. Too kind. Now the big question is, am I happy throwing Reclaimer out into a bolt here or not? So we draw. I think just because I have nothing else going online, that I don't have a plan to get this to a 3/4 anytime soon, that I just have to try to fade like a removal spell, which is pretty tough. Like I don't see this working, but the upside is huge. Okay. Surgical's a really odd one. Like it's usually card disadvantage, and I have multiple ways to deal with other things here. Okay. I'm just going to sack this now. I'm going to another Flagstones and then get Dark Depths next turn. Wasteland's going to be fine. Mox is actually relevant here. Because it's 2 mana, 2 mana. 2 for stage, 2 for Dark Depths. Let's make sure I'm not playing Dark Depth, Blast Zone, right? Yeah, there is no Blast Zone here. I'm thinking of just when I was playing lands. Okay. They have to attack with this. I'm going to put them in a position where they might have to... What are they doing? Bolting me? Oh, no, I meant to get that's rough. I meant to get Bog there to bog the DRC and then block with Dried Arbor, or at least make them wasteland the Dried Arbor. That's going to cost me. That's going to cost me. That's going to cost me a huge amount. Okay. They have 2 cards left. Jeez. I'm just going to get another stage here. And just to play around double Wasteland here. Now we also have mana up for Submerge, which is nice. Yes! Haha! Alright guys, I gotta go to the airport real quickly and pick someone up, but a huge thank you for you guys coming in and watching. Really nice to finish that 3-2 and get it over Blue Red Delver because I hate that deck. But of course, it's part of the metagame, and it's a very challenging deck to play against, so pretty cool to get up there. I am quickly going to send you guys over to hopefully someone else who's playing Legacy right now. I believe the Legacy Pit is, which is nice. A huge thank you. A huge thank you to all. To Fish, very cool to play against you. To Maverick Joe for the donation, gifted subs, and also playing against you as well. To all the other subs, to the followers, a huge thank you. I have a pretty big announcement coming out tonight, so definitely stay tuned. If you want to find me on Twitter or YouTube to hear that announcement, you can find me here. Until then, thank you very much. Love you all. Stay safe. Enjoy the weekends, and I'll speak to you later. Cheers.